South 1060 West Addison Street in Chicago. We're set for the Hyundai leadoff man on WGN Sports. Lots of sunshine, wind blowing in yet again today. Mild temperatures, and it's the rubber match as the Cubs host the Pittsburgh Pirates here on WGN. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to the leadoff man. I'm Len Casper. The Cubs with a nice win yesterday. Low-scoring series in the first two games combined, just 7 runs. Let's check in on the highlights of Game 2 after the Pirates won the opener of this series 2-1 on Monday night. Cubs coming right back. Starlin Castro in a pretty good stretch here offensively and getting it done with a runner at third as Coy Hill doubled into the corner to get himself into scoring position, and the pass ball allowed him to move to third. Castro would follow that with a sac fly to left. Actually ended up being a fairly close play at the plate. Jose Tabata throw just a little bit offline. Hill scoring 1-0 Cubs. They did not trail the rest of the night. Adding on, Alfonso Soriano, his bat really heating up. Second homer in 3 days. Just over the wall and left. 2-0 Cubs at that point. Ryan Doumit would come back. Pirates with not a lot of offense last night, just 7 hits, but this one a booming home run to left off Ted Lilly, and it was a 2-1 Cubs lead. But in the bottom of the 6th, Alfonso Soriano would come right back. His next at bat would take Jeff Karstens deep once again. His 25th career multi-homer game, his 3rd over the last 3 days, and this will be big home runs for the Cubs. Now, this is probably the key part of the game. Ted Lilly trying to get out of a jam, 2nd and 3rd. With 1 out, he got Cedeno to pop out, and then the pinch hitter Ryan Church strikes out. And in the 9th inning, it was Carlos Marmol. A couple of tough outings for him, but he was nasty last night. Went 1-2-3, got a couple of strikeouts, notching his 14th save of the season. Ted Lilly getting his 3rd win. The Cubs still haven't scored more than 3 runs in a Ted Lilly start, but he got the win last night. 3-1 the final, and with the wind blowing in again here today, we might have another pitcher's duel as Tom Gorzolani will face his former team. Let's go to break now as we check in on our Hyundai dealer of the game, Patrick Hyundai in Schaumburg, Illinois. See the cars the experts are raving about at myhyundaichicago.com. The Hyundai Leadoff Man, brought to you in part by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. And by your Chicago Hyundai dealers. See the cars the experts are raving about at myhyundaichicago.com. recently called up from High A Daytona to Double A Tennessee. The Florida State Offensive Player of the Week in his final action, at least for a while, with Daytona. And Tennessee with 9 All-Stars on the Southern League All-Star team. Good to see Michael Brentley hitting safely in 6 of his last 7. Well, after today, it doesn't get any easier. The Cincinnati Reds, who've been battling with the Cardinals for first place for quite some time, will come in for a 4-game series. The Reds lost last night. They trail the Phillies today 3-0 in the 6th inning. But it's a 4-game series starting tomorrow, and it'll be a major league debut. Left-hander Travis Wood will pitch for the Reds, who've been in a very good stretch. The Cubs will then finish up the first half at Arizona, at the Dodgers, and then after the break, the Phillies come in. So not a very easy schedule here, but if the Cubs have any chance to get back in the playoff race, they need to play very consistent baseball. The Pirates, again, 26-51, but have played very well against the Cubs this season. Time now for Bob's AutoZone tip of the day. You hear Ernie Banks say, let's play 2. Well, how about let's take 2? Been about a month. The Cubs have won 2 in a row, 1 time against the Oakland A's. The tip of the day brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone. AutoZone. Well, the trend has pretty much been the same all season long. The Cubs have gotten decent pitching. The bullpen's been a lot better here the last month or so, and the starters very consistent. The Cubs just need to score runs. Today it'll be Tom Gorzolani pitching for the Cubs, back in the rotation after a month in the bullpen. He takes Carlos Zambrano's spot, 1-0 in his career against his former team. And for the Pirates, it'll be our first look at a guy we've been hearing about for a while, right-hander Brad Lincoln, the top prospect in their system. This will be his 5th career start, looking for his first major league win. So we're set, the Pirates and the Cubs from beautiful Wrigley Field. Bob Brentley will join me, and we'll get you set for the 3rd game of this series coming up. at the corner of Clark and Addison for Cubs baseball here on WGN Sports. The rubber game today between the Pirates and Cubs. And it's the final game of what's been a disappointing month of June for the Cubs. 10-15 so far this month, but a chance to win a series, something they've only done once over their last 9. And we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everybody. It's Bob Brenly, Len Casper with you. 3-1 the final last night. Alfonso Soriano with 2 home runs. You start to think maybe this is going to be the hot week to 10 days that we see fairly often from Soriano.
Well, Lou is certainly hoping for that. We talked to the skipper before the ball game today. He had planned on giving Soriano a day off, and with the 2 home runs in the ball game last night, he's right back in that lineup again. We know how streaky Alfonso Soriano can be. Hopefully this is the beginning of a real hot one.
Well, Carlos Zambrano, of course, on the restricted list, had the disastrous start on Friday, but the starting rotation, Bob, has really stabilized things since.
It's stabilized a lot of things. Number one, they've held the opposition down, kept them from scoring a lot of runs. Number two, they've saved that bullpen in a lot of instances. The guy's working deep into the game, pitching very effectively. Hopefully Tom Gorzelani will continue that trend today.
Yeah, Gorzelani did very well in relief. He got his first career save last week in Seattle and was actually very good as a starter. There was nothing he did or didn't do that knocked him out of the rotation.
Well, and you have to believe he's really fired up to face his former team for the second time. You saw what he did right there against the Pirates earlier this season. And he actually saved the bullpen a lot of headaches with his 3 1/3 innings in that Zambrano blow-up game. 5th
career start for Brad Lincoln, 0-2 as he makes his Wrigley debut. Now we'll send it down to the field as we get set for the national anthem.
Miles Hayes as he honors the United States by performing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Miles Hayes with our national anthem. Beautiful day for Cubs baseball. We'll get it going right after this. Flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. By Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Submit your idea at refresheverything.com. And by Illinois Lottery's newest game, Powerball Wednesday and Saturday jackpot start at $20 million. Welcome back to the ballpark. We're in late June, and this is a time of year, Bob, when the wind normally blows out. That has not been the case this week.
Not at all. Very surprising. We've had some very warm, mild temperatures here, but the wind blowing in pretty much straight in from center field last night and again here this afternoon. Pitchers have to love that wind blowing in. Hitters not so crazy about it.
Let's check out our AT&T U-verse replay. We've been entertaining fans for years. The Jesse White tumblers in the house with the Jesse White drum corps. They performed before the game today, and Cubs Charities presenting a $4,000 check to the Jesse White drum corps, helping the group purchase new drums after the old equipment was destroyed in a flood. Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T, rethink possible. Now the Pittsburgh Pirates lineup written out by manager John Russell. Jose Tabata had the game-winning hit Monday night. He leads it off. LaRoche, McCutchen, Jones 2 through 4. Ryan Domit with a homer and a double last night, hitting 5th. Pedro Alvarez at 3rd, batting 6th. And the bottom 3 goes like this: Lastings Millage, Ronnie Cedeno, and the pitcher Brad Lincoln.
Let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively behind Tom Gorzolani today. Brought to you by Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Soriano, Bird, and Fukudome across the outfield this afternoon. Ramirez and Castro will be on the left side of the infield. Mike Fontenot getting a start at second base. Derek Lee over at first. Coy Hill back-to-back games behind the plate, and he'll be receiving pitches from left-hander Tom Gorzolani. Mentioned that bullpen saving outing that he had against the White Sox after the Zambrano blow up. Came in and pitched 3 1/3 innings of one-hit baseball. And that was exactly what Lou and Larry needed from the veteran left-hander.
Set the umpires. Jerry Meals in his 14th year in the big leagues. Pennsylvania native will handle the plate with Mark Wegner, Dan Iasonia, and the crew chief Dale Scott around the bases. Pirates have taken 8 of the first 11 in this season series. So this is already the 12th of 15 meetings this year. One more series to come at Wrigley, and that'll be in late August. A former Pirate to a current Pirate, and away we go. 1 ball, no strikes on Jose Tabata.
Yeah, a current Pirate that the Cubs are still in the process of building a book on. You get the feeling Tabata is going to be around for a long time. The Cubs are going to see plenty of him, and we found out last night he can run. He very nearly beat out a routine ground ball to Starlin Castro at shortstop, made it a bang-bang play at first.
The 1-1 pitch, Tabata showing bunt, pulled the bat back and took the fastball in there. 1-2. First start for Gorzolani in over a month. May 26th against the Dodgers. Former second-round pick of the Pirates in 2003. Tabata acquired from the Yankees. And able to hold up on that pitch that got away from Coy Hill. The Pirates, according to Baseball America, their top 4 prospects going into this season: Pedro Alvarez 1, Jose Tabata 2, a catcher named Tony Sanchez 3, and then right-hander Brad Lincoln. So they have 3 of their top 4 prospects in the lineup today. That one almost hit him. And it's 2-2.
And talking about the conditions here at Wrigley today, this is another one of those afternoons for the pitchers. If you get in a jam, throw it up and out over the plate and let guys hit the ball in the air to the outfield. Doesn't figure to carry well at all other than line drives.
Time now for our Chrysler game forecast. Upper 60s, a heavy northeast wind. Forecast brought to you by Chrysler. For more info on our vehicle lineup. And there's a ground ball that'll be backhanded by Fontenot. He better hurry. Safe. Just couldn't get anything on the throw. Log on to Chrysler.com or stop by your Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Chrysler dealer today.
There's that top of the speed we were just talking about a moment ago. Mike Fontenot going up the middle of the field, got rid of it quickly, but as you said, couldn't get much on the throw, and just too much speed from the Pirates leadoff hitter. Legs it out for an infield hit.
The leadoff man is on, and Orsolani will check on him. Talbot a 5 for 5 in stolen base attempts. Andy LaRoche, the batter, he's playing second base for the second straight time. Just his fourth career start at second. They're still without Neil Walker and Bobby Crosby, who are day to day. Walker with a concussion, and Crosby with concussion-like symptoms. We won't see Walker for sure, and we probably won't see Crosby today. Boy, it's subtle, Bob, but I think that leadoff guy in the first inning, that is the key batter for any starting pitcher. You do take a few warm-up tosses from the stretch, but your rhythm gets totally thrown off, or you can't even get into a rhythm. And they have Tabata picked off. Maybe. Yep, got him. Nice throw by Derek. And the tag applied by Castro. So that helps out Tom Gorzolani, who was behind LaRoche in the count.
Yeah, the Cubs guessed right. Tabata went on first movement. Derek Lee got handcuffed a little bit at first base by the pickoff attempt from Gorzolani. But makes a good throw to Starlin Castro, who gets that tag down in front of the base quickly. And that's a good way to erase that speed off the bases.
So back to the windup and a 3-0 count.
Well, and I think every starting pitcher, when they leave the bullpen to start the ball game, they anticipate being in the windup for a while till they can get comfortable on that mound. And you're absolutely right. When that leadoff man reaches, it changes everything. At least you would hope the pitcher leaves the bullpen thinking he's going to be in the windup for a while.
LaRoche lost his everyday job at third when Pedro Alvarez was brought to the big leagues, and he draws a walk. Now it's Andrew McCutchen. Cold spell lately, just 4 for his last 31. He did knock in a run Monday with a triple. He leads the Pirates in batting average, has 19 stolen bases, and has scored 48 runs. Outfield playing pretty deep, especially with the wind blowing in. And a called strike.
I think at Wrigley Field, regardless of the wind conditions, you're always better off playing a little deeper rather than a little too shallow, at least initially, till you see how the wind affects batted balls in the air to the outfield. I've talked repeatedly about the thin wind that you see occasionally here at Wrigley when the flags are blowing in, but the ball still seems to carry very well. Until you see a couple of fly balls to the outfield and see how the wind affects that baseball, you're better off erring on the cautious side.
Hit hard and barely foul.
We saw a couple balls hit in the first game of this series. Talbot has tripled to right center field. We thought would get knocked down by the wind that was blowing straight in on that night, but the ball carried and ended up short hopping the wall out in right center field.
Outside. 1-2. Last outing for Gorzelani was in relief of Carlos Zambrano on Friday, and he was really good. Gave up a Gordon Beckham home run, but really saved the bullpen. 3 1/3. Fairly efficient. McCutchen went. Call made by Mark Wegner for the second out.
Fastball that got away from Tom Gorzelani, shoulder high off the plate away. Not sure why McCutchen was even thinking about offering it that pitch, but rung up by the first base umpire Mark Wegner on the check swing.
Garrett Jones leading the Pirates with 46 RBIs. And he takes a fastball inside. And 12 of his RBIs have come against the Cubs. He's hit better every month. 207 in April, 302 in May, 330 as we sit here on the final day of June. It's right around this time last year when Garrett Jones came up to the major leagues. He was really good. In fact, it was June 30th, 2009. Not a deal that would have brought attention really to anybody around baseball. Garrett Jones purchased from the minors. He had 31 previous games with the Twins in 07, hit 208. And he would go on to hit 21 home runs and just over 300 at bats for the Pirates last year.
We're just a couple of weeks away from the Midsummer Classic, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and each team will have a representative at that game. And you look at this Pirates ball club, and I think you can narrow it down to probably two offensive players, the guy at the plate, Garrett Jones, and Andrew McCutchen as a possible representative for the Pirates.
I think Evan Meek might be on that list, but when he's a setup guy, it's not easy for the 8th inning guys to get a nod. And the 7th inning guy, if you add it up, Bob, really over the last calendar year, 156 games for Jones, 158 games rather, 31 home runs. Swing and a miss. He strikes out, and that ends the first. A hit, a walk, no runs. The Cubs are coming up. Kosuke will lead it off in right. Mike Fontenot spelling Ryan Theriot. Bird, Lee Ramirez, Soriano, the hottest Cub. Coy Hill with a couple of doubles last night, so he gets another start. Castro at short, Gorzolani on the mound. To set the Pirates defense, Tabata, McCutchen, Millage in the outfield, Alvarez, Cedeno, LaRoche, Jones on the infield, Ryan Domet catching for rookie righty Brad Lincoln, still looking for his first major league win. This is his 5th career start.
Gone 6 innings in each of his first 4 starts. Not a big time strikeout pitcher, only 8 punch outs in those first 4 starts to go along with 8 walks. There's a fastball, curveball, changeup.
25 years old. Six feet, 210 pounds. As he works to Kosuke Fukudome. Get out of a 2 for 20 slump. A little more difficult because he has not been playing every day. And he is playing right for the 2nd straight game. Pop up out in the left. Tabata will haul it in. You can email us at LennonBob@Tribune.com and follow us at Twitter.com/LennonBob. It'll be tough to get anything up into the bleachers today.
You may have to pass that sign down to one of the players on the field. That's going to be tough to reach those bleachers. Of course, it can happen. We saw Alfonso Soriano go deep to left field twice in the ballgame last night with a very similar win.
Mike Fontenot in a similar situation to Fukudome as he bunts, and Domet calls for it and gets the out in plenty of time. How do you change your mindset if you're a Mike Fontenot or a Kosuke Fukudome, Bob, going from 5, maybe 6 starts a week to 1 or 2 at most?
Well, I think the thing you have to fight the most is trying to do too much. Use that overworked cliche, trying to do too much. Get 2 hits every at bat. You just have to take each at bat on its own merit. Try to get a good pitch to hit and hit it hard somewhere. And if you do that consistently enough, you'll find yourself in the lineup a little more often. And like the rest of the guys who find themselves on the bench, most of the time you've got to stay prepared. You got to work actually harder when you're not playing than you do when you are playing.
Alan Bird gets a hold of one, and Andrew McCutchen's going to run it down with too much air underneath. So the Cubs go down 1-2-3 against Brad Lincoln. We are scoreless from Wrigley. Matthew Fasuna from Arlington Heights and Taylor Lupo from Bedford Park. For more information on how you can be a Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kid, go to WGNradio.com. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. You know, the irony of that is Starlin Castro's not too far removed. He could have been a Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kid a couple years ago.
Fortunately for the Cubs, though, he's moved past that bat boy stage. Finds himself in that starting lineup just about every day.
Ryan Doumit with a home run from the right side last night. First homer since June 5th. Second off a lefty this season. Bounced over the mound. Castro will have some time. And he barely gets him.
We talk a lot about Marlon Byrd in center field and that diving catch coming straight in as his signature play. This is rapidly becoming Starlin Castro's signature play, the one where he has to charge and throw from that submarine delivery onto Derek Lee for the out at first. He gets that ball into and out of his glove quickly from that shortstop position.
Doumit got down the line pretty well. That ball was not hit terribly hard. And a nice play by Castro. One strike to Pedro Alvarez. 2 for 4 for the walk in the series. Got 2 for 6 in the series for Alvarez, who was recalled on the 16th of June, 2 weeks ago today. Including today, he's now started 13 of 14 at third base since he was called up.
Going through the usual growing pains you would expect for a young player at the major league level. He's had his troubles making contact. 20 strikeouts in 42 at bats coming into play today.
Swing and a miss.
Watch the Cubs take on the Reds this Friday here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 5,000 children 14 and younger will receive a limited edition American Girl doll-size Chicago Cubs uniform. Compliments of Pepsi and Arby's.
Two down, it's Lasting's Millage. Tapped back to Gorzolani. This will be a quick second for the lefty. Lee Ramirez and Soriano coming up against Brad Lincoln. Derek Lee leading off the Cubs second. Fastball strike. And 91 from Brad Lincoln. Derek brings in a 7-game hitting streak. Nine hits, 3 knocked in during the streak. He's trying to build on something here in what has been to this point a disappointing year for a guy who's used to be hitting a lot higher than 237.
And one thing that can salvage a season for a guy who's used to hitting for a much higher average, being a lot more productive in the middle of the order, is coming up with some clutch hits in the second half of the season. It's not out of the question that Derek could get his numbers back to where we're used to seeing him. Ouch. And even more importantly, some timely hits in the second half of the season will really help salvage what has been a disappointing year up to this point.
That was a fastball that got Derek. Hit him in a couple of spots.
It looked like it got him initially just above that left elbow on the back of his upper arm.
So Lincoln has to work out of the stretch for the first time as he faces Aramis Ramirez, 4 for 18 since coming off the disabled list. Aramis in the 5th spot. Derek cleaning up with Marlon Byrd batting 3rd. Outside, 1-1. Lincoln, the 4th overall pick in the 06 draft out of the University of Houston. Born in Lake Jackson, Texas. Well, I don't know if he was born in the lake, but in the town of Lake Jackson.
We'll try to get a shot and see if he has gills.
Cub fans, make sure you check out our WGN baseball blog on WGNTV.com. Click on the sports link and look for the blog. I have a post about last night's win. We have the stretch from last night sung by Mike and Mike. Also post-game comments, game notes from stats, and much more. Ramirez waiting him out, 3-1. Cubs' next opponent, the Reds. They've been the comeback kids. They did lose in extras last night, but scored 3 in the 9th on a Joey Votto 2-out homer to get it to extras. Today, facing Roy Halladay, they trailed 3-0 in the 4th inning. They now lead 4-3 in the 8th. Halladay has given up 13 hits. Votto and Jay Bruce with home runs for the Reds. Dane Sardina for the Phillies. The Reds are poised to win that series if they can hang on. Lee goes on the 3-2, knocked down by LaRoche. He's going to have time to get Ramirez. That's it. On a ball that was hit extremely hard.
Time now to check out today's improvement from Menards. We've talked a lot about the Cubs being a slugging team, a home run hitting team. Well, you can score runs in other ways. With extra base hits, the last 3 ball games, the Cubs have averaged 5 extra base hits a game, 15 total over those 3 games. The 2 games before that, not a single extra base hit. And when you have a team that lacks great speed, you need those extra base hits to score runs if you're not hitting homers.
Well, they went hitless 0 for 5 with men in scoring position last night, but because of the 2 Soriano home runs, they didn't need a big hit in those situations. I think Alfonso has the leather jacket somewhere in the clubhouse.
I'm sure he has several leather jackets.
Got an equipment issue, or Ryan Doumit has something in his eye. I've never caught before, but my guess would be it'd be a good idea to be able to see behind the plate.
It helps a little bit, yeah. The surprising thing is that this doesn't happen more often. The ball's fouled off in the dirt behind home plate, pitches it, bounce in the dirt in front of home plate. Seems like there's always dust and dirt splashing around back there, and apparently Doumit is able to proceed here. See, I just kept my eyes closed.
Not a good idea for you kids at home. LaRoche will throw out Soriano with Lee holding at second. You'd like to be able to pick up this run. In the first 2 games, the Cubs outscoring the Pirates 4-3. So runs at a premium. Brings up Coy Hill with 2 outs.
I'm not sure if Derek Lee didn't pick that ball up off the bat immediately, but he should have been on third base. Ground ball to second in that situation. Still in scoring position at second base, but when you get over there to third, puts a lot of pressure on that catcher to block everything in the dirt and keep you at third base.
We would assume a Marlon Byrd fan. Two balls, no strikes. Starlin Castro on deck. Coy hitting 7th. 2 doubles and a run scored last night for the Cubs backup catcher. Although he hasn't always been the backup. Earned a lot more playing time over the last month or so. Line shot right at LaRoche, who had a busy bottom of the second. Hit batter, no runs, still no score.
Fan cam and see who's enjoying the game.
You glide through my head
311 with Amber. Amber is the color of your energy. It's also the color of Budweiser. It's what we do.
1-0 to Ronnie Cedeno. Make it 1-1. Struggling to a .224 batting average. Orsolani has settled in. He gave up a hit to Tabata to start the game. Walk LaRose, that's been it. Swing and a miss. Went after the high heater. And Orsolani has his 4th strikeout already.
Orsolani appears to have his good command today. That's a pitch by design with a 2-strike count on an overly aggressive hitter. Throw it up out of the strike zone and see if you can get him to chase.
It's rather bright. The reflection of the windows on the building across Waveland. Lincoln's done a nice job at the plate. 3 for 6. He was a pretty good hitter in college. In 06, won the Brooks Wallace Award, given the college baseball's top player. And he's out as they go glove to glove. That's Fontenot to lead.
It's a fairly easy play for a second baseman to make because they use such a small fielder's glove, right? Or rather, Mike Fontenot got to the ball in real good shape. It was going to take too much time to try to transfer into the throwing hand and then make the short throw to Derek Lee, so he just scoops and flips all in one motion.
One strike to Tabata.
Be a little harder. Excuse me, Len. Be a little harder to do that with an outfielder's glove.
It would, yes.
Or a first baseman's mitt or a catcher's mitt. But that second baseman usually uses the smallest glove on the field so he can get the ball out of the glove quickly on double play pivots, and it makes that scoop play much easier.
Castro bobbles, still with time, and he gets it. They go 1, 2, 3 for the second straight inning. Bottom 3. 0-0. Castro, Orsolani, and Fukudome against right-hander Brad Lincoln. If Lincoln can hang around for a while, he'll face the Cubs a lot. She can't bear to watch. Two strikes on Starlin Castro, hitting .270 on the year. He has struggled in his first at bat against most pitchers. His average goes way up in the second at bat. That could be random. He's only been up here for a little less than 2 months, but does that tell you anything right there, Bob?
That just tells you that Starlin Castro's in the major leagues. You're seeing pitchers every day you've never seen before, and scouting reports and video can only help you so much. You've actually got to get in that batter's box and see for yourself what kind of movement a pitcher has on his pitches as Castro chases that breaking ball low and away.
And he has a better chance of getting a hit his next time up.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN TV is sponsored in part by the Illinois Lottery Mega Millions. Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $25 million.
Great group of kids. You see a lot of youngsters with yellow caps on. They're here courtesy of Lloyd and Sandy Elam. And they're from Lincoln, Illinois. Lloyd Elam won $7 million in the lotto in 1991. He and his wife Sandy decided to share their good fortune by treating underprivileged children to a Cubs game every year here at Wrigley Field. This is the 20th and final year that they will do this. 38 kids attending their first ever Cubs game. And unfortunately, Lloyd not well enough to make the trip, but Sandy is here along with 10 chaperones. Lloyd, a retired coal miner. That is a really neat story.
Oh, yeah, what a great gesture.
And Lloyd received the first ever lottery Heart of Gold Award in 1997, and it was presented to him here at Wrigley Field. Nice going, Lloyd and Sandy Elam, and we hope Lloyd's doing all right as he watches the game from Lincoln. But not rooting for Brad Lincoln.
No, not at all.
The 1-2 to Gorzolani, swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks for Lincoln, who had reconstructive elbow surgery the year after he was drafted. I think that really fit the Pirates' luck. You go back to '93, their first of what has become 17 and probably 18 straight losing seasons. You take a guy fourth in the draft and find out he has to have major elbow surgery. But here he is in the majors.
Before he meets his teammates, he meets the orthopedic surgeon. That's usually not a great way to start your major league career, but guys have bounced back well from arm surgeries because of the tremendous advancements in medicine over the last few years. So still a great chance for Brad Lincoln to have a long, productive career.
A short and productive inning for Lincoln, who's now sent down the 6th in a row, has not allowed a hit through 3. Halladay, Ernie would have said, let's play 2. Great statue right out in front of the ballpark, which has become a great destination here in Wrigleyville. Foul strike on Andy LaRoche. 0-0 in the 4th. The Reds did beat the Phillies. They came back against Roy Halladay, who pitched an 8-inning complete game, and he lost 4-3. We'll see the Reds tomorrow. Should mention the Phillies now without 2 of their starting infielders, Placido Polanco and Chase Utley. They're on the DL. Castro has been busy here early. Throws out LaRoche.
On Sunday, the Cubs host the Reds here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs 4th of July hat, compliments of Ballpark Franks.
Polanco with elbow inflammation, and Utley has a sprained thumb. A couple of big losses for the Phillies. So they had Greg Dobbs at 3rd and Wilson Valdez at 2nd today. They combined for 3 hits, but they lost. Comebacker and a base hit for McCutchen. It's a fist bump from Carlos Garcia, the first base coach.
Well, I don't know how that one got through without making contact with Tom Gorzolani, but I'm sure he's glad it did. That ball was smoked right back over the rubber.
Arizona and St. Louis 1-1 at Busch Stadium in the 3rd. Barry Enright for the Diamondbacks against Jeff Suppan for the Cardinals. Close at first. McCutchen got back in time. Adam Wainwright last night, Bob, with his 8th start at home. He has won all 8 at Busch Stadium this year. Cardinals need to win that game to stay in first after the Reds win. Their first strike.
Well, we know Andrew McCutchen on at first base has base stealing speed, no question about that. Sometimes you're a little bit torn as a manager, though, because there is a big hole on the right side of the infield, and Garrett Jones is a left-handed pull hitter. So you're torn between trying to get that guy into scoring position with a stolen base or leaving that hole on the right side of the infield for the guy at the plate.
And Gorzolani already with a pickoff in this game as he nabbed Tabata in the first inning. Good percentage for McCutchen. Jones, born in Harvey, Illinois, went to Andrew High in Tinley Park.
You see Gorzolani trying to crowd Garrett Jones. He's got such great plate coverage. He can reach out off of the outside corner and get to pitches that most guys don't get to. That's one way to try to keep those guys honest. Keep them from leaning out over the plate and getting to those pitches off of the outside corners. Just stand them up with fastballs inside.
2-2 on Jones. Here it is. It's full now. I have to think McCutchen's going to go. There he goes, ball 4. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Say the margin for error is nothing, but stop me if you've heard this one before, partner. Tom Gorzolani has gotten 2 or fewer runs of support in 7 of his 9 starts, and in his first 4 got a grand total of 2.
Ooh. I should have stopped you. I have heard that before.
Yeah, that's why he's 2-5 with an ERA that's under 3.5. Trying to work out of a jam here in the 4th. It's almost like when he went out of the rotation, his tough luck transferred to the other lefty, Ted Lilly. Bowman with a 1 hopper to second, and Fontenot will turn it 4-3. A double play to end the threat. Bottom 4, still no score.
Lilly's ERA by month, he's been whittling it down. Overall, 3.12 last night. Gave up only 1 earned run in 7 innings of work. Toyota and your local Toyota dealers, official partners of the Chicago Cubs.
Cubs seeking their first hit off Brad Lincoln. Wide for ball 1 to Fontenot, who was positioned perfectly against Ryan Doumit. Turned the 4-3 double play to get Gorzolani out of the top of this inning. Two and 0. That's a strike. 2-1. On the ground and through. There's the first Cub hit. Leadoff single for Fontenot.
Well, and as we played the Pirates this season, we've talked at length about how they bunch their outfielders. The left fielder and the right fielder play closer to the center fielder than most teams. They don't do that anymore. Since Jose Tabata has made his major league debut, they've gone back to a more traditional lineup in the outfield. They've got great speed in left and center, average speed in right, so they're playing a more traditional defensive setup now than we saw the Pirates previously this season.
And they might play it slightly differently at PNC Park. We have the spacious gap in left center. Gap's not nearly as deep in this ballpark.
And earlier this year we saw millage in left field a lot, and Garrett Jones or Ryan Church or a cast of thousands playing right field. Not nearly as much defensive speed, so they tried to take away those gaps in right center and left center and concede extra base hits hit down the lines.
Bird takes it low. Marlin at a solid 310. Came in hitting 337 in June. Another tough year for John Russell and the Pirates. They have lost 18 of their last 19 on the road. They're 6-25 overall over their last 31. Recently went through a 12-game losing streak. Bounding ball foul. There had been reports that John Russell's job might have been in jeopardy, but the Pirates then announced that after last season, he and the general manager Neil Huntington had been extended through next year in moves that were not announced at the time. Then the day after that, and we talked about it when it happened, one of the racing pierogies was fired for critical comments about the team on Facebook, although the pierogi was rehired last week. They also cut their highest paid player this month, Aki Iwamura, who had gotten off to a terrible start. He's now at AAA. They've already set the all-time major sports record with 17 straight losing seasons, and they're headed for number 18.
We were talking just a moment ago about the way the Pirates position their outfielders defensively. John Russell positions himself differently than any other manager that comes here to Wrigley Field. He is on the far first base side of that first base dugout. Most managers try to get as close to home plate, usually so that home plate umpire can hear you a little better, but you see John Russell's all the way down there by our camera positions.
Former catcher. Caught Nolan Ryan's 6th no-hitter with Texas. With 2-2 to Bird, a swing and a miss. It's the first out. It'll bring up Derek Lee, who's hit by a pitch his first time.
Short, tight breaking ball that time from Lincoln. We're told when he's able to command that breaking ball, that's when he's at his best. I think you can say that about most pitchers in the major leagues, but he was struggling to find that pitch early in the ball game. He's starting to get it wired in. Another one.
Yep, good slider. To get the swinging strike. I want to send out happy birthday wishes, number 26, to Katie Worth, celebrating at the game today. So we wish Jason Carr, Cubs Media Relations Department, a happy 33rd. Katie Marta, happy birthday. Yesterday, the Cubs Marketing Department. Bob, we ran into an old friend before the game, Arlene Gill, longtime member of the Cubs front office, executive assistant. And she's been retired for a couple of years, so the golf game has improved, and back here at the ballpark taking this one in. I told her you need a lesson, so
boy, do I ever.
I might need to call Arlene.
And Arlene has somehow figured it out. The fountain of youth, I don't know what it is. She looks younger every year. It's amazing.
1-1 on Lee with Fontenot at first, 1 out in the inning. Off the inside corner. See Ramos a good 5 or 6 feet in front of the actual on-deck circle. Fontenot runs and Lee fouls off. Normally an on-deck hitter will not be chastised for being where Ramirez is. However, if he were more to the right and more behind home plate, that's when the Pirates might argue and tell him to get out of there. Todd Helton always tries to get a pretty good angle on what the pitcher is throwing by sneaking back toward the backstop, but closer to behind the catcher. Full count, 3-2. Fontenot is not running on that one, but he will on this one, most likely. There he goes, and he's going to be doubled off as Lee lines to Cedeno, and that will end the inning. Off to the 5th, 0-0.
How would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete information and rules.
Swing and a miss by Pedro Alvarez as we're underway in the 5th. This has played out a lot like the first 2 games. Not much offense. Alvarez lofts out in the left center, and it'll get down. It's a base hit. Alvarez, his signing in 08 After being the second overall pick, rather controversial, it appeared he had agreed to a deal just before the August deadline, but his agent, Scott Boras, claimed there was no deal. And that dispute was whether the contract was done before the deadline, which was collectively bargained by baseball and the union. He was put on the restricted list. The union filed a grievance. Eventually they settled the situation, and he signed a 4-year, $6 million Major League contract. Better hurry. We're not going to get anybody. Lastings Milledge trying to move Alvarez up. Not only did that, he has a hit. And they have 2 on with no outs.
Well, he does end up moving Alvarez into scoring position, but I don't think he had a sacrifice on his mind right there. He's trying to bunt for a base hit the whole way and executes it perfectly. Gets it past the pitcher, Gorzolani. Too far away for Derek Lee to make a play, and by the time Fontenot gets to it, everybody's safe. It's that Bermuda Triangle area out there between the pitcher, the first baseman, and the second baseman. Try to create confusion as to who's going to make the play, who's going to cover first.
Now, no need to panic here for Gorzolani because of where the Pirates are in their lineup, and the key guy now is Cedeno with the pitcher on deck, even though Lincoln can handle the bat. And Cedeno bunts it foul. I would agree about Milledge, and it looked to me like Ronnie was trying to bunt for a hit as opposed to just simply giving himself up to move the runners up.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to push that ball to the right side where Derek Lee is drawn in front of the baseline and would have a clear shot to pick up the ball and go to third if Cedeno bunts it hard that direction.
Way outside. McCoy Hill was thinking about firing to second and could not get a good grip.
In this situation, a pickoff attempt is always a possibility at second base. That runner's always going to try to get an extra step to make sure he can make it to third base on a successful bunt. And when you take that extra step and the batter pulls the bat back or bunts through the ball, you're very susceptible as a runner at second base.
So 1-2 to Cedeno. He back a little bit at first. Ramirez still even with a bag at third. I think he went. He did. That's a strikeout.
The 2010 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. The drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime.
Now the Pirates are in a spot now where they don't have a lot of choices in the middle of their infield. Ronnie Cedeno had been relegated to the bench, but he's gotten back in there because of the injury situation with Walker and Crosby, and Ronnie continues to struggle. That's a big out for Gorzolani.
Yeah, he's not in there for the quality at bats he's putting together lately. I mean, it is an opportunity for the former Cub to show what he's capable of doing and help his team win some ball games while other guys are injured. That's one thing you can do. You never like to see a teammate get hurt, but if it presents you with an opportunity, you better be prepared to take advantage of it. And Cedeno has just not had good at bats in this series. Cubs not quite sure what to expect from Brad Lincoln. Ramirez is drawn in at third. Derek Lee's coming in from first.
Toward third, picked up by Ramirez. So Lincoln gets it done. There are 2 outs. A little light at the end of the tunnel here for Gorzolani. He's got to get Tabata, although he could work around him with first base open. We'll see. Orsolani choosing to go from the windup. Ball one. He'd rather get Tabata here, but in a little wiggle room with first base open. Fastball low, 3-0. High strike. 3-1. Orsolani hasn't given up a run, but remember, he hasn't started in a while. Up around 70 pitches, so right-hander Brian Schlitter is up in the bullpen. Ball four to load him up. Here comes Larry. We'll say hi to a big Cubs fan, Gianna Husband, recovering from knee surgery, watching today on WGN, and Carol Stream. And congrats to Stephanie Loretha and Joel Herrera here celebrating their upcoming wedding this Saturday. Great to see Debbie Meehan, who works on our charter flights. And she's just simply relaxing today in the bleachers, cheering on the Cubs. A strike to LaRoche. Big spot here for Orsolani. Best chance by far the Pirates have had. They had two on with nobody out. Now bases loaded, two gone. Fly ball to right. Fukudome coming over. Wind pushing that toward the seats, and it's right off the ledge. Stay banged into the padding. Normally the wind helps the defense and a pitcher. In this spot, it did not.
It did not at all. That ball started in fair territory, but high in the air, the wind continued to push it closer and closer to that right field line. Right off the top of the padding there. Just missed the very top of the wall and hit the top of the pad and ricocheted back on the field. No play for Fukudome.
Look out. Wow. Pedro Alvarez. A quick dance step there to get out of the way. That's why the runner is in foul territory at third base.
Yeah, if he would happen to get struck by a batted ball in foul territory, it's just a foul ball. If he's in fair territory, he's out.
Alvarez already has been hit in fair territory. Ended the game on Sunday in Oakland. 2-2. Does not want to go to a full count.
Now, this is the pitch of action right here, as pitching coaches refer to it. You don't want to go to the full count and get those runners moving.
Here it is. LaRoche stays alive. Cubs connection with Andy LaRoche, his dad Dave, former Cub pitcher. Brother Adam plays for the Diamondbacks. Ground ball to Castro. Where is he going to go? Second base. Fontenot covering, inning over. So Gorzolani gets out of it. Still 0-0. In the first ever game at Forbes Field. PNC proud to be an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs, just as proud to support the fans and community who cheer them on. PNC, for the achiever in us all. The Pirates made Forbes Field their home from 1909 to 1970. Three Rivers Stadium from 70 to 2000. And coincidentally, PNC Park, their current home, as Ramirez dumps it into right to start the Cubs' fifth. I was not there on June 30th, 1909. I don't know if you have any specific details of that Cubs 3-2 win.
I couldn't get tickets that day. It was sold out. I do know that Forbes Field was the first ballpark to be completely made of steel and poured concrete. Up to that point, a lot of wood used in building stadiums. Kind of a bizarre looking ballpark. You know, like they changed their mind in mid-build.
It's the site of one of the greatest World Series moments ever, the Bill Mazeroski World Series ending home run against the Yankees in 1960.
Named for General John Forbes, who was an officer in the French and Indian War. So now you know.
You did your homework. One strike on Soriano. Leadoff man on. We're in the fifth. Brad Lincoln trying to get his first career win. Tom Gorzolani probably done after 5. In his first start in over a month. 77 pitches. A lot of strikes. 51 strikes. Did walk 3. But got out of a big jam in the top of the 5th. At the knees, 1 and 2. Soriano not so sure. Lewis thinking about giving Alfonso the day off today. Day game after a night game, but he simply couldn't sit him. Not after a 2-homer night last night. You ride the hot hand. High fly ball deep to left. Top of it back. On the warning track, he's going to have room. He just missed it.
Well, on another day, it probably does get out of here anyway, even though he didn't get all of that ball. And a good sound coming off the bat. That's a hanging breaking ball on the inside part of the plate, just like his first home run of the ball game last night. Top but it goes back to that well area, and the wind knocks it down just in front of the vines.
Coy Hill lined out to the second baseman his first time. Bob, we got the answer. We talked to Lou Piniella about Don Mattingly. 1986, Mattingly played a couple of games at third base for the Yankees. Lou said they didn't have anybody else, and Mattingly was very willing to do it, and Lou said he was pretty good. Left-handed thrower as Ramirez took off. That was a hit and run.
Well, he said Mattingly actually made a nice play on a bunt, charged in from his third base position, fielded, turned his back all the way to the bag, spun around and threw the guy out at first base, initiated a couple of double plays from his third base position.
Yeah, they got stuck roster-wise, and Gold Glove first baseman went over and played third with a glove on his right hand. Another thing we didn't mention last night, I think it's Pat Vendit. Quite sure how his last name is pronounced, but a minor league pitcher with the Yankees, ambidextrous, throws righty and lefty. Well, if you could ever perfect that, how valuable would that guy be at this level? Created a lot of pretty funny scenarios when the batter would, a switch hitting batter would just keep going back and forth, and he'd take the glove off one hand, put it on the other. Got him. Called strike three. Hill is retired.
Plan your next corporate function or family gathering in the comfort of the Wrigley Field Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments. Suites are available now for games during the season. To book your suite or for more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200.
Well, let's see if those numbers we showed you earlier hold up. Castro a lot better the second time in a game against the same pitcher. He struck out in the third inning. You see that split finger grip as Lincoln gets ready. And it's a strike. Two and one to Starlin Castro. Rosolani is on deck, but Brian Schlitter continues to throw. That'll be a fair ball. Millage will get to it in time to keep Ramirez at third base. So Castro with a double. So that's second at bat, a successful one for Starlin. And we'll see a pinch hitter for Gorzolani. It'll be Tyler Colvin.
Second time around, had a better idea of what to look for from Lincoln. Got that fastball on the outside corner, kind of a slashing swing just over the head of Garrett Jones, right on the first baseline. Putting runners at second and third for the pinch hitter Tyler Colvin.
It's a pretty early at bat for Tyler Colvin, but you got to do it. Yeah, you get a couple runs here, and you feel like this could possibly be the game. And he's the only left-handed hitter available on the bench.
And because it is so early in the game and Brad Lincoln has been pitching so well, John Russell doesn't have anybody warming in the bullpen, so you know you're going to get your left-handed batter a matchup against a right-handed pitcher.
Where it gets tricky is if he does give the Cubs the lead and then does not stay in to play defense. Lou likes to bring him in late when he doesn't start, but you got to do what you got to do. And I like this move. Sometimes you want to save your top pinch hitters for later. I don't think Lou had that luxury today.
And there's no guarantee you'll get the matchup you're looking for later in the ballgame. John Russell, if this was the 7th or 8th inning, would probably have a righty and a lefty throwing in his pen, and you wouldn't get this favorable matchup.
0-2. Now, having said all that, no matter who was going to pinch hit, it would be their first ever at bat against Lincoln.
I don't know this for a fact, but I would venture a guess that Tyler Colvin and Xavier Nady, Jeff Baker, all the guys on the bench today have probably been watching some of this ball game on TV to get a real good look at Brad Lincoln's pitches.
Well, they're big fans of ours, so they wanted to listen to some of your analysis too. Don't sell yourself short.
Well, third base dugout isn't always the best vantage point to see what a pitcher's throwing.
1-2.
It's just a short trip up the tunnel behind that third base dugout to the video room where they could watch every pitch that Brad Lincoln has thrown to the Cubs hitters today. And when you're called upon for that pinch hit at bat, gives you just a little more information to take up there to the plate.
Has gone exactly 6 innings in each of his first 4 starts. Working here in the 5th, and a 2-2 to the pinch hitter. Colvin is inside. It's full 3-2.
The Pirates attacking Tyler Colvin down and in with fastballs and breaking pitches. That one just off the inside corner for ball 3 to run it full.
Making a lot of noise. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Lincoln pumped up as he heads back into the first base dugout. 0-0. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Into the bullpen as right-hander Brian Schlitter, 2/3 of an inning in his major league debut on Monday night. Both outs were strikeouts. The first of which he started, I think the count was 2-1, as John Grabo left with a knee injury. So Ryan Dempster was joking about he only threw 2 strikes, got a strikeout. Ryan wondering, how can I do that? But Schlitter got credit for it. Great thing about baseball. How many strikes do you need to get a strikeout? Apparently only 2 for Brian Schlitter. The 1-1 to McCutchen is right down the middle, 1-2. Tough part of this order: McCutchen, Jones, and Domet. Fly ball deep to right. Fukudome backpedaling, gets there right at the edge of the track.
Christine Prokaski from Chicago is today's Hit the Jackpot with Powerball contestant. If the Cubs hit a home run in the next inning, Christine Prokaski wins 100 chances to win the Powerball jackpot, and tonight's jackpot is worth $27 million.
Jones has struck out and walked. Got an email from Harlan Freimeyer. Guys, please tell me why the game's official score is never identified to the fans. Today's official score is Don Frisky, Bob Rosenberg, Alan Spear, others who score games here at Wrigley Field. I think most would rather remain somewhat anonymous. They tend to be popular or unpopular with certain teams, depending on their scoring decisions.
And there are subtle differences between official scores. Some guys view the game a little differently than others. Some guys think one play is an error. Other guys think it should have been an infield hit. I think scores are a little bit like umpires. They just prefer to be anonymous. Do their job, get them right, and move along.
Again, you can keep in touch. LennonBob@Tribune.com, or email Twitter.com/LennonBob. We're going right to it.
All I know is when I played in the Pacific Coast League in 1980 and 81, they had a horrible official score in Albuquerque. Every ball put in play by a visiting team, they give an error to the defense. The home team, they would give errors just to protect the ERA of their own pitching staff. And conversely, every ball they put into play was a hit, no matter how badly you misplayed it.
So you actually won the batting title that year, just nobody knows.
Yeah, that's right.
Jones is out. Domet will come up with 2 outs, nobody on.
You know, and there's always those borderline plays. It could have been an error, could have been a hit, and players always want to get the hits at home. They expect to get those borderline calls to go their way at their home field, but official scorers don't technically have a home field. They don't view it the same way.
One strike on Domet, who did not get a fastball. Schlitter almost exclusively with fastballs so far this inning. There's one. That was a sinker. 1-1.
And one more note on official scores. The way it's gone this season, the year of the pitcher, official scores aren't crazy about those no-hitters late into the ball game, and then a borderline call. Is that a hit or is that an error? You like the first hit of a no-hitter to be a clean no-doubter, but sometimes they have to make a tough decision on whether that's good enough to break up a no-no, or should I call that one an error? And I got a feeling we're going to have a lot of tough decisions the rest of the year if it continues the way it has here in the first half of the season.
I think you're right. That's not a tough decision. That's a hit. Now, would that have been an error in the Pacific Coast League in 1980?
That's an error on the catcher for calling the wrong pitch.
First hit allowed by Schlitter. One ball, no strikes on Alvarez.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out as we move forward here how much Schlitter will be used and in what role he will be used. But we know Lou likes those power arms in the bullpen. With Andrew Cashner down there, of course, Carlos Marmol at the end of the ball game, and now Brian Schlitter. He's got 3 right-handed arms that can rush that ball past an opposing hitter.
Pop up on the infield. Again, Wynn going to play tricks with this one. Castro makes the catch, and that's the inning. A hit, no runs. Still waiting for that first run.
TV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio, and play sets, hot tubs, and more.
Brad Lincoln still in. Top of the lineup, Fukudome, Fontenot, Bird. Combined 1 for 6 against the rookie righty. Cubs start the day a game behind Milwaukee for 3rd. And the Brewers trailing at home to Houston 2-1 in the 7th. Juan D. Rodriguez, Dave Bush. They've gone the distance in that one. Kosuke missed the bunt attempt. American League Central, the Twins extend their lead over Detroit to a 1.5 with a 5-1 win over the Tigers. Kevin Slowey over Andy Oliver. Justin Morneau with his 16th home run. $40,000 plus at Target Field, 71 degrees. This is a kind of day, I'm sure, over the course of the last 30 years or so, a lot of people would have said, I wish we didn't have a dome today. And they don't anymore. But there will be a few days in April and May next year, and maybe September of this year, where they'll say, I wish we had one. 3-2 on the way. Ball 4 on a close one.
Whoa. Must have been low because it was all over the middle of the plate.
How do you take that pitch? Worked out.
That's way low.
If you say so. Well, that could be pretty significant. Leadoff man on in a scoreless tie. Long pause by Lincoln, and he steps off to check on Fukudome. Alvarez in case Fontenot lays down a bunt. Joel Hanrahan, hard throwing righty, is up for the Pirates. Steeler fans in the ballpark wearing, Steelers and Pirates and Penguins colors. They're very well color coordinated among the major pro sports teams in Pittsburgh. Bob, I'm taken aback. Mike Fontenot's last sack bunt, and he hasn't shown bunt at all. July of 2008. It's been almost 2 years since Mike laid down a sack bunt. Now, I'm sure he's tried a few times since, but the last time he got one down almost 2 years ago. Domit with a nice play. Lincoln tried to get there and never could, but Domit saved him. That goes like a sack bunt, even though it's an 0 for 1 for Fontenot.
Chopper right off home plate, high in the air. It's a nice play by Ryan Domit. That ball had a lot of spin on it. Could have bounced anywhere when it hit that grass out in the middle of the infield, but Domit was able to scoop and throw on to Garrett Jones for the out at first base, all in one motion. And Fontenot well inside the baseline, running down there to first. Even if that throw hits him, I gotta believe he would be called out on appeal. He was a good 3 feet inside that baseline.
Bird has flied out and struck out. Runner at second, 1 away. Cubs to this point 0 for 3. With Ben in scoring position. The Pirates also nothing for 3. Ground ball to third. That's going to keep Fukudome at second. Alvarez to Jones for the out. There's still time to get great seats, including bleachers, for Cubs games this summer. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. A reminder, the Cubs honoring Ron Santo, 50th anniversary of his debut with the team. Some fans buying some tickets to upcoming games. Not sure how many are left, but you can go online, Cubs.com. Enter the promo code Santo in purchasing bleacher tickets. A limited allotment of $10 bleacher seats until the end of this homestand. For number 10. Ball to Cedeno, shuffling over to his right. Leadoff man got on, but he ended up stranded at second. Pirates nothing, Cubs nothing after 6. Today, visit your Honda dealer. Test drive a 2010 Honda CR-V. Ryan Schlitter in his second inning of work, a hit, no runs in the 6th. Swing and a miss. Probably see the end of Brad Lincoln's day. Well, maybe not. 82 pitches. He is due up third in this inning. Two bouncer to Castro. Gets his man.
I like to see that from Brian Schlitter. All 3 pitches that at bat to Lasting's Millage, breaking pitches. And the young pitcher has a tendency, after throwing a first breaking pitch for a strike, well, that was easy. Watch this one. I'm really going to snap it off. But Schlitter did not do that. He consistently executed his pitch. Good release point. Made 3 good breaking pitches to Millage to get the out.
Actor and musician Thomas Ian Nicholas will conduct the stretch. Cedeno takes it inside. 96. Good heat on that fastball. 1-1. Popped in his short right over near the line, and Fukudome got near it, but it was on the mound. It's a tough place to dive for a ball.
That's a tough place to stay on your feet and go after a foul ball. You're running on level ground on the grass. Suddenly you hit the side of that mound. You could see just a little stumble as Fukudome lost his momentum there, wasn't able to continue on and make the catch.
Two-two to Cedeno. Harder, and that'll find the seats. And with nobody up in the Pirate bullpen, no matter what Cedeno does, it appears as though Lincoln will take the at bat. Although if Ronnie gets on, they might quickly get somebody up. Waves at a bad one. So Cedeno's frustrations continue. He has struck out all 3 times.
Lead him right out of the strike zone with that breaking pitch that never was in the strike zone. Started off the plate away, went further away, and Cedeno just waved at it.
Popped up by Lincoln. Soriano coming over, and he has it in foul ground. Time for the stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game is actor Thomas Ian Nicholas.
All right, Cub fans, let me hear ya. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Let me root for the Cubbies. They don't win, it's a shame. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game. Let's get some more!
Bottom of the 7th. We mentioned Brad Lincoln has gone exactly 6 in his first 4 major league starts, so this is the deepest he's ever gone as he faces Aramis Ramirez. 0-0 Pirates and Cubs in the rubber game. Thomas Ian Nicholas in the booth with us, actor and musician, and you're in for a couple of shows.
Yes,
tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night, playing at Social 25 and Taste of Chicago on Friday afternoon, and then the Pony Bar on Friday night, where the infamous party happened after the Hawks won.
One of the infamous parties. There were a lot of parties after the Hawks won.
I don't know. I heard about a 48-hour party. Look, I live in L.A. The rumor mill gets spread over there, and I was like, I want to go and play wherever that party was. So that was where we booked it for Friday night.
2-2 on Aramis. I recently saw a movie you appeared in, Please Give, recently. I liked it very much.
Right on. Thank you for supporting the independent film. Oh.
Base hit for Ramirez to start the 7th.
There you go.
You were very good, but as I told you during the break, anything with Amanda Peet in it, I'll go see and I'll probably love it.
Fair enough. So you're saying that you didn't go see the movie for me necessarily, just mainly for Amanda Peet.
Oh, you were very good.
That's okay. I would do the same.
Well, the Cubs with a leadoff man on in the 6th, and they've done it here again in the 7th. Actually, now the last 4 consecutive innings, they've had the leadoff man on.
This one is going to be different.
We hope you're right.
That's why I came up here for the stretch. Let's make this one different.
What is the status of the American Pie series? Are we going to see any more coming up? Or?
I guess the word is maybe I'll find out in July if we're going to go back and reprise that with the original cast. So I am still reading about it in the papers just like everything else.
That's a strike. 1-1.
I would imagine for an actor that is quite a stroke of, I call it luck, but when you get in a situation like that with a movie with the sequels and the great cast and people want to see more of it, I got to think that's a great feeling for an actor.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always a blessing when a project you do. Sorry, just seeing that foul ball right there. It interrupted my thought process for a moment. I was expecting it to go inside anyway. Yeah, it's always a blessing when you have a project that does well, and I'm very thankful for the success of that film. But here though in Chicago, the American Pie doesn't matter as much as Rookie of the Year. So
yeah, shot here at Wrigley Field.
It's always fun to be back.
They have made some subtle changes as Soriano strikes out, but when you stand here in the booth and look out at Wrigley Field, what do you see that looks different from when you shot that?
The rooftop bleacher seats, which increased the availability of seats from 35,000 to 41,000 now, is it?
Yeah, about 41,000.
Yeah. When I was here and shooting in '92, there was only 35,000 seats available. So obviously, the availability, the seats have increased. That's the first thing that I noticed. And a few updated signs. I don't think that there was the LED underneath the scoreboard before.
So 92. How old were you when they shot that?
I was 12.
12 years old.
Yes. Also, it's always good to see the actual ivy since we put camouflage. We were shooting it after baseball season, and that ivy died out quite fast in the cold weather.
Going inside to Coy Hill. 1 ball, no strikes. Ivy came in pretty early this year. Started to turn green, and gosh, Bob, I think mid-April, maybe even the first homestand we saw. A lot of green. It was a great weather week. Got a little touchy in May, but now here in late June, we've had great weather this week. Lincoln steps off. You mentioned that, Thomas, you live in L.A. The Angels have been really good here the last few years. The Dodgers have had their moments. Do you feel like the Angels have picked up a little steam there in the L.A. area with how good they've been?
It's hard to, I don't really pay too much attention to the Angels. They're down south.
I guess there's the answer. Ground ball. Jones steps on first, and they have Aramis caught up. He's tagged out, and that is the inning. Thomas Ian Nicholas, thanks so much for the time as always. Have fun with your music gigs this weekend.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me back.
Amphitheater July 18th. Get your tickets at livenation.com. The Summer Concert Series is brought to you by Bud Light. Live music and Bud Light, here we go.
Bruce Dickinson and company, Run to the Hills. All right. Okay. Well, still no score here in the 8th. We need Eddie Maiden to sing the stretch one of these days. 97 on that fastball from Andrew Kashner. It missed outside on Tabata. Their leadoff man. The 1-1. Tap back to the mound. This could possibly go several ways. Could be a no decision. He could get a win. He could get a loss. If he gets a loss, and we hope that doesn't happen, it would be his 3rd straight. Usually the guys who get the decisions in the bullpen are guys like Kashner. They pitch when the game is in the balance. Maybe up 1, down 1, tied. Want to know on LaRoche. Yeah, it's a nice sign. Saying hi to Dad in Afghanistan. Hopefully able to watch today. Tonight, not quite sure what time it is.
Yeah, me neither.
Halfway around the world.
I'm not sure what time it is here. Well, I'll tell you, Len, Andy LaRoche, for a guy that's not known as a home run hitter, takes a home run swing. Really tried to wind it up on that Andrew Kashner fastball and was well targeted.
Two on the way. And Ramirez dropped it. 8th error of the year on Ramirez.
Ramirez ranging to his left, got to the ball in pretty good shape. It looked like he was going to spin with his back to first and try to make the throw, but just never made the exchange from glove to bare hand. Ball dropped harmlessly to the ground out there in front of the shortstop position.
CHN base hit. Roche did a nice job picking up his 3rd base coach, who was Tony Beasley. And Beasley was holding up his hand, telling him, stay right there. Well, another game, Bob. Pirates hanging around. We've already beaten the Cubs 8 out of 11. And Sean Marshall is going to get ready quickly, and Larry Rothschild will come out. I think this is not only buying time for the lefty Marshall, but just a momentum stopper. Error, single, just like that, 2 on.
Yeah, in a very short period of time, and you're facing the cleanup hitter for the Pirates in Garrett Jones at the plate, who's done a lot of damage against the Cubs this season. I'm sure Larry just wanted to refresh Andrew Kashner as to what the scouting report is against the big left-handed hitter. Now, Jones obviously can be a very dangerous hitter, but he can also roll over some ground balls. He's grounded into 10 double plays this season. Just what the doctor ordered right here.
There we go. Deep drive for Jones. That's slicing away from Marlon Byrd, and it's off the wall. And they will get one as LaRoche scores standing. Garrett Jones does it again against the Cubs, and that error on Ramirez looming very large. RBI number 13 of the year against the Cubs for Garrett Jones. It's 1-0, and they may not be done yet.
Andrew Cashner falling into a little bit of a habit of starting every hitter with that fastball. That time Jones, with a nice piece of hitting, went down and golfed a low fastball to the gap in left center, driving home a run. And the Pirates still have a couple runners in scoring position, as now Ryan Doma will be walked intentionally to get the rookie Pedro Alvarez to the plate.
And at that point, I think we're going to see Sean Marshall. So Cashner in jeopardy of losing for the third consecutive appearance. And Lou immediately out of the dugout calling for Marshall. So an error, 2 hits, and now an intentional walk. Pirates with a lead. We'll be back.
Slamming a double off the wall in left center field to drive home so far the only run of the ball game. Only BMW offers ultimate service. Buy a BMW now and pay zero maintenance costs for 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first.
Tough spot for Sean Marshall to come into. Bases loaded, 1 out, as he faces left-handed hitting Pedro Alvarez. 1-0 Pirates.
I think Sean Marshall needs to be careful of the breaking pitches to Pedro Alvarez. So far, he's shown a very long, slow swing. He's had trouble catching up to good fastballs. However, off-speed pitches in the strike zone would appear to be a pitch he could handle. Sean Marshall's breaking pitches, especially that big curveball, is exceptional.
One strike on Alvarez. Cornerman in, back up the middle and double play depth. You give Alvarez the gap in right. Bird shaded toward the gap in left center. Paid crowd today 37,391. And a thank you to Ron Santo for the $10 seats. I don't know if Ron bought those seats. But the $10 seats, again, in honor of good old number 10. Alvarez did go after that last pitch, so it's 0-2, and he strikes out.
Two hard sliders and a curveball gets Alvarez. We were talking to Gary Varsho, one of the coaches for the Pirates, about Alvarez before the ball game, and he said that the Pirates staff are encouraging him just to bump the ball into play. Those were his words. Just make some contact. Tough to do against Sean Marshall when he's got that breaking pitch working and the fastball off the plate inside.
Well, the Pirates no doubt will be patient with Alvarez, considering their record. He's been here for only a couple of weeks, but if he continues to struggle as much as he has, it might do him more harm than good to stay here too long. Blasting Smillage. 1 ball, no strikes. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Bob Howery is up. The 2-0. Boy, he needed that. Just caught the corner, 2-1.
Perfectly placed fastball and a good hitter's count there.
You can look at the inherited runners category a couple of ways in this spot. Great opportunity for Marshall to strand 3. But any mistakes, and at least a couple are going to score. 3-1 on Millage. Looked like Millage really wanted to swing at that pitch. He was going to make Marshall throw him a strike.
Well, a gutsy pitch, 3-1. He comes with a little slider to the back door for a called strike. Well, what that does then, when you throw a breaking pitch on a 3-1 count with the bases loaded, that hitter now all of a sudden is not so sure he's going to get a fastball on the full count pitch.
Everybody running. Ground ball foul. Run giving the Pirates a 1-0 lead in the 8th. They're trying to add more. And the next 3-2 pitch, ball 4. He forces in the 2nd run of the inning. Well, you know, Sean wants that one back, and it just wasn't good enough to start to even give Millage a chance to think about swinging. Ronnie Cedeno has struck out swinging all 3 times. Ramirez with that error. That opened everything up. Next 3 guys got on. Pirates are trying to help Brad Lincoln get his first major league win. 7 shutout innings for Lincoln. He will leave it up to the bullpen for the final 2 innings. Castro down on a knee, lobs to Fontenot. That's the inning. They get 2, and they're unearned. Again, great to see the group of youngsters out here, courtesy of the Elams. And they will be featured tonight on the WGN News. They're rooting for a Cubs late comeback. Joel Hanrahan will work the 8th. Against Starlin Castro.
And it's not going to be easy. It's never easy, but Hanrahan is one of the better arms out of that Buccos bullpen. Been unscored upon his last 7 outings. You see the opponent's batting average only .205. Big time strikeout pitcher.
8 career scoreless appearances against the Cubs, including 5 here in 2010. Sean Marshall has a bat on deck. (0-2) on Castro. Here's the pitch. He struck him out on a slider. Ryan Theriot will hit for Marshall. The pattern has played out. Castro struck out first at bat against Lincoln, then doubled. First at bat against Hanrahan, striking out, but he's not going to get another shot at him here today.
The reason we saw Sean Marshall in the on-deck circle was Lou was waiting to see what happened with the Starlin Castro at bat. Had he reached base, we may have seen a different pinch hitter, somebody perhaps with a little more power, an opportunity to possibly tie the game up. But once Castro was retired, it's Ryan Theriot taking the at bat.
And Bob Howery was loosening earlier. He had sat down. Well, just a little chess match there. Marshall in the on-deck circle with nobody warming up. But I agree. I think Lou had Theriot. If Castro made the out and had a home run threat if he had gotten on. And this will be caught by Millage. He's playing shallow out there and right. Let's see what's coming up on WGN. Two 2-0 Pirates. 9 runs combined in this entire series. Pirates have outscored the Cubs 5-4. And that's why little things become big things, like a 1-out error in the top of the 8th led to 2 unearned runs. Hanrahan and Meek have been excellent against the Cubs, setting up for Octavio Dotel, the closer. It's a 1-2-3-8 off to the 9th. 2-0 Pirates. For the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes. Veteran righty Bob Howry will make his 28th appearance combined between the Diamondbacks and Cubs this season. 14th with the Cubs. He has a 0.82 since coming back to the Cubs. Switch hitting Delwyn Young. He'll bat in the pitcher's spot as he fouls off to the left. Bob, unearned runs have been a problem for the Cubs this season. They came in tied for the most allowed in baseball with 44. That's now gone up to 46.
We talk about it all the time at the major league level, even against the inferior teams. You cannot afford to give them 4 or 5 or 6 outs in an inning, because it's going to end up biting.
The 0-1. That's a strike. 0-2.
Not to mention the stress it puts on a pitching staff to have to get those extra outs, throw those extra pitches. Puts more pressure on the manager to make pitching changes, to get matchups, to try to get out of those lengthy innings caused by errors.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Now we got Young on a splitter. Well, we've talked about all the Pirates' woes as they go through some growing pains with a lot of young players. Some interesting comments in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette by John Russell. He said, quote, "I've been very pleased with some of the things they've done," talking about the young guys, "but also discouraged by some things that continue to hold them back. They really don't even realize how close they are to being a really good ball club." Derek Lee diving stop from his knees, gets it to Howery, top of the retired. John Russell saying once they get on a little bit of a roll, they'll relax a little bit. When you play tense, you're going to make a few mistakes. So he's trying to get his young players to have confidence in themselves, which they clearly have against the Cubs. They just haven't had it against anybody else. We were talking before the game about the atmosphere around a team, especially a young, impressionable club. If all you do is lose year after year after year after year, that has to take a toll on young players who become veterans. And I think that entire Pirate coaching staff is trying to impart, hey, this is not how it's supposed to be. I mean, don't let it become a habit.
Right. I mean, realistically, it's hard to set the bar too high for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but the opposite is true. You don't want to set it too low. You don't want guys to get used to losing, finding ways to lose ball games rather than finding ways to win ball games. That goes for the Pirates or any other team in the major leagues for that matter.
Well, and we sit here and talk about a young Pirate team. And over on the other side, the Cubs have been a team this season, for whatever reason, and I think it probably speaks to just the overall inconsistency of the club in general. They have continued to lose more close games than they've won. And that takes a psychological toll. When you get oh so close so many times and you come up short. What was I saying? One and two the count.
She's telling him never throw a hittable strike with an 0-2 count.
Swing and a miss. So Howery does his job. Gets it to the bottom of the ninth. Dotel coming in 2-0. Dotel tries to get his 16th save. Almost half of them have come against the Cubs. He has 6 already, trying to notch his 7th. Ed Hardig told us since the save became an official stat in 1969, the most saves against the Cubs in a single season is 7. Todd Worrell of the Cardinals in 1988, Billy Wagner with Houston in 2002. So Dotel trying to equal that mark here today, working with a 2-0 lead and a 1-ball no strike count on Mike Fontenot. Bird and Lee, and then if anybody gets on, Aramis Ramirez.
Well, in 12 of his 30 appearances before today, Dotel has allowed the leadoff man to reach base, including Monday night when he drilled Derek Lee leading off the inning, but came right back to strike out the next 3 batters to end the ball game.
The Cubs today have had 6 base runners. 5 have been the leadoff man. Fly ball to center. No problem for McCutchen. Just positioned perfectly. Marlon Byrd. We'll turn the page into a new month tomorrow. And the red hot Reds come in. Low and away, 2 balls, no strikes. Reds have won 7 of 9. Bird takes all the way. Still wants one hit there. Get somebody on, and Cubs can hit one there. They'll tie the game.
Yeah, bloop and a blast.
How about a couple bloops and a blast? That wasn't a bloop. It was a line drive base hit. Tying run will come up.
Top spin line drive over the shortstop into left field for Marlon Byrd. Keeping Cubs' hopes alive here. The no stride approach, quick hands through the hitting zone.
Derek Lee, fly ball deep to center. McCutchen going back. He's going to have room. Makes a catch. Not today.
Not today.
Not today with the wind blowing in.
Struck well, sounded good. Good trajectory off the bat. Just got up into that wind and feathered into the glove of Andrew McCutchen in center field. That ball is crushed. Inner third of the plate, down a little bit, right where he likes it. Chases McCutchen right to the warning track in center field. How about a redeemer?
Well, he has 2 hits, but the key play of the game was his error in the 8th inning. To right, Millage makes the catch, and that's it. And the Pirates have now won 9 of 12 against the Cubs this season. Dotel with his 7th save against the Cubs in 2010, and Brad Lincoln gets his first major league win As the Pirates shut them out 2-0, and the offensive struggles continue. This looked like a doubles tennis match out there in the outfield. So the Cubs held to 5 hits today.